Well, Lon Pinkerton is here with us. Of course, Lon was standing in the by-election recently. Of course, you weren't there on the night, and I think a lot of people know what happened. But you were back, but you were in isolation, weren't you?
Yeah, basically, just before the campaign really got started, to be honest, just after we'd interviewed, my father-in-law sadly passed away in Slovakia. So my family and I went to Slovakia. We knew we had to self-isolate once we got back. So I felt pretty much, I think I referred to myself in one of the interviews as the invisible candidate, because obviously I didn't get a chance to go around the doorsteps as I'd hoped to. I got around a limited number, but I could have got around 100 times more houses than I originally had done, and the family was always going to come first. So basically, having reflected in the last week or so about the result, I know I want to stay involved somewhere politically. So I've set up the Manx Democratic Socialist Forum as an outlet for my views.
That's why you're here today, really.
Yes,
I mean, besides obviously the story, the Manx Democratic Socialist Forum. Is that a left-wing thing then?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is say to the people who are sort of moderate, centre-left, I think that there's a void in that sort of people who politically who want a say or who want to get involved. I made a thing about the electoral turnout. I was a bit worried, and obviously it was 37.8%.
Low.
Very low. And how do we get out to the other 62.2%? But beyond that, how do we get out to the people who feel they don't have a voice, who feel frustrated by the mainstream political process? So what I'm trying to do is gauge opinion, hopefully set up a few meetings with people, go to a wider audience, and obviously thank you for the opportunity today to speak again.
I mean, I can't say if you're going to stand again. By the way, if you do that anywhere, you're immediately under all the rules. So
absolutely,
I understand that. But in the future, are you going to be still a political animal? You must be, by sound.
Absolutely, I want to stay politically active,
but not down the route of MHK then.
Possibly not.
Oh,
I mean, this is what I mean. It's early days. I've reflected in the last week. I didn't get out on the doorsteps, and I think that's obviously, having spoken to a few people in the last week who've given me a lot of confidence, who are involved in politics without naming anybody's name. They've come back with a lot of feedback, and I realise that you need to put in the legwork. You need to see people. You need to get your views across, whether they agree with you or not, and then they can make a decision if you're their candidate. And obviously for the reasons that I've explained, I didn't get out on the doorstep. Thankfully, my brother and my best friend and his family got out and about delivering the initial manifesto, so it did get out to everybody. But obviously doing the interview with you last time, that was I thought this is the start of the campaign, but pretty much it was fairly much over by that stage in terms of me being personally involved on the doorsteps.
I mean, you just didn't get the numbers you wanted anyway. You weren't doing the canvassing, and that's obviously hugely important. You can do so much social media, right? But you still do you still think you need to door knock?
You do. I think especially on the island, it's about personality as much as anything. And if I'd had a chance to get out to a few people and persuade them who I wasn't really well known. If I go back to my time trying to get into the commissioners in Ramsey, I was well known in Ramsey. I got a lot more votes there.
It's because you moved around a bit, do you think?
Yeah, I think as well, that people have to trust you. They have to know what you're about. And obviously coming from a background, very working class background, and obviously, with the residents of Annika and Paul Rose, that was a sort of the bedfellows I thought I would be appealing to, and I was hoping to get round.
There was even quite a lot, look at the box anyway, I don't know how many, but it didn't look that many in those particular areas.
No, and that's what I mean. How do we engage people? How do we get them, because I believe that representation is the most important thing. And this is people's opportunities to use that vote and to have their voice heard. And I actually made a point of it in the manifesto. Your voice and your vote counts. But obviously, the people that stayed away, how do I then get to them? How do other people get to them? It's not just about me as a previous candidate.
Right, so this thing you're setting up on Facebook is just to see what's out there. You've been up there for a little while, a few days, yeah? So
a few days. So
anything so far?
A few people have followed me. Yourself included, I noticed this morning.
I always follow back normally, I try to do.
So but a few people have got in touch, because what I didn't want to do was use my election stuff. I closed that down after 48 hours. I want to thank all the people who helped. But it wasn't about that. This was about the future. This was about trying to gauge where there was a moderate centre-left view that isn't getting to people to say, look, the public services are our number one priority. Our pandemic response, bearing in mind as well what's happened this morning.
They're recording, of course,
So, it's just trying to put my foot in the water. I want to stay involved politically somewhere, and whatever my role might be. And as you say,
so it will be a party eventually if that's numbers add up. Or
it's only really a forum for just to
forum.
just to gauge people's
like-minded
opinions.
people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I work within government, as you know from last time. I work for Manx Utilities, bearing that in mind, I decided to go down the forum route rather than set up a party because maybe have to resign from the post. But it's just keeping the toe in the water. Try and see who else is interested. And what I'd say to people is there's a Facebook page and a Twitter feed. If they want to give me a call, my number's 336 272, and I'd like to sort of reach out to like-minded people and see where it leads to.